My name is Dan Rabinowitz. I'm professor of anthropology at Tel Aviv University. I was born in Haifa in 1954 as part of the Israeli version of the baby boomers. People born in Israel in the 1950s, like I was, had a sense of duty to make the world that their parents inherited to them look better, safer. Our earlier generation had gone through the Second World War, the Holocaust, extermination, and a very, very difficult period in 1948 when Israel was born. And it was the unstated duty of my generation to reassure our parents that everything will be okay, that survival is secured, that life will be normal. The sense of trust and identification that all of us as young people in the 1950s and 1960s had in the state was shattered in 1973 with the Yom Kippur War, when Israel was taken by surprise by Egypt and Syria, and almost overnight the sense of security that all of us had in the institutions of the state, and the security and the strength and the foresight of the leaders was shattered. In my class, 7% of the male students who went to my school with me, to high school with me, were killed. I sort of opted out. I didn't go abroad, I didn't leave Israel altogether, but I went to the Sinai, the desert, the large desert that Israel had control of since 1967, and joined a field study center, an ecological field center, where I spent 4 years, in the late 70s until 1979, until the area was given back to Egypt as part of the peace process. It was then that I really developed a keen interest in two of the themes that are still with me until now as a researcher. One is Bedouin and Arab culture. The other is the environment, ecology, and the future of the planet. I then went on to study in England. I did my PhD in Cambridge in the late 1980s in anthropology. And most of my academic career I have researched these two themes. One is ethnographic studies of Palestinian citizens of Israel and the relationship that they have with the Jewish majority. The other, more recently, is environmental issues and mainly global warming. My most recent book, published in August 2020 by Stanford University Press, suggests that the Middle East could become part of the solution to climate change. I argue in that book that because of the double trouble that the Persian Gulf is facing, one with global warming that could make some of their bigger cities uninhabitable in 30 or 40 years, and the other the demise of oil, they may decide to proactively bring about the energy transition, turn their back to oil, and become champions of renewable energy, which is something that could have global implications. So I'm looking into the later 21st century with a mixture of concern, like many of us, but also with some hope that maybe this area that has been part of so many conflicts could also play a part in a solution to climate change.